Hey y'all,
Hey.
Hi.
it is a Sunday and we are shifting.
Are we ever?
That's all I got.
Left, shift to the right, shift to the one you love tonight. I don't know. I just
All of it. If we were TikToking, then we could point, but I'm too old. I don't have to do TikTok. This is usually the time I'm like, what was the update? How was y'all week? And my update is I've just had Break My Soul on repeat.
Yep.
My update for the week.
Oh.
There's definitely been a renaissance in my life where I'm like, wow, how am I gonna do this? And by do this, I mean return to work. So there was a lot. There was a renaissance resurgence. Not that it ever really totally went away, but the way that I was like injecting it in my veins was giving summer 2022.
It was giving the first time we listened to You Won't Break My Soul, and I was like, run that back.
Man, I didn't even like it's just hitting me that it was our first week supposedly back to work because working for the city of Oakland, it's like it was so stressful last week that I thought I've been working for the past month. I mean, it's just like partly because of, weather and cities not being prepared for the torrential downpour that we've experienced over the past week or two, and just having to deal with that, and then having to deal with the first week of orientation for newbies, and it's just shenanigans. Welcome to 2023.
It did not ease us into the year. I do not feel eased. You know what I'm saying? I do not feel a new year, new me vibe that's happening.
No, it's really that collectively just stop trying to new you. It ain't the time.
Right.
You still got old you gotta deal with. Okay. Now just running to a new you is not gonna make the old you go away now.
The best advice I've heard.
Yes.
Yeah. Still trying to catch up.
Take that old you back to bed and take a nap. Because there were definitely people. I got thrown into a staff meeting first thing Tuesday, which was when we started back, and I was like, was it necessary? We just saw like, what is there to update each other on? We just got back. And people were like, I'm ready, new me, new and this is me. Oh, okay. But by the time I saw all those people at the end of the week,
they're already done.
Like, what was I thinking? But what I will say is I just started Fridays off.
Ooh.
Lucky.
Because otherwise I wasn't going to make it through the week.
It's a game changer.
When they were like, it's effective this week, I was like, say less. I'm already out.
That will never happen for people that work in government. The 4-day week will never happen.
Never say never. You can't. No, we were not going to get to liberation thinking that way.
Oh my God. I love you.
Well, are y'all ready to get into a short week of GH? It was 4 days.
Also a 4-day week.
Also a 4-day week. But we did soap this week.
Yes.
We soaped.
We soaped. All right, I did this recap right before we got.
You don't have an "Am I an asshole?" because we got a big asshole this week.
I mean, the chances are like the answer is just obviously yes, and I didn't have the right one. I was sad about it too. Like 1 minute before we logged on, I was like, "Dang, I didn't do it. Am I the asshole?" The answer is probably
there will be plenty of opportunities.
Right.
All right, let's get it. We start the week with the hooker attempting to strike again. Her intended target, Josh, tries to fight her off, but in true white girl in a horror movie style, she falls. Britt comes through like a superhero with a designer bag and fights the hooker as well. Dex, proving again he is no Jason, takes a shot at the hooker that scares her off but doesn't kill her. Dex. But Dex's gun is illegal, so Britt lets Joss and Dex leave the scene while she deals with the police. Joss and Dex head back to his apartment where they have a drink and jet sex. Britt goes back to the Haunted Star where Liesl is waiting. We find out that Britt has been grazed by the hooker and poisoned. She dies in her mother's arms. Cue Sarah McLachlan. The hooker also is revealed to be, drumroll please, guess not, Heather Weber. Now, just for funsies, Ryan finds out that Heather is the hooker. He tells her Esme is pregnant, and they plan on their life together with their child, their grandchild, and Ava. I can't tell. Okay. Sante talk at Kelly's, and Sam asks Dante if he's trying to take Sonny down. I don't know when Sam started to back the blue, but blah, 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 defund the PCPD. I'm so annoyed that Sante are not enjoying each other in their bed for New Year's, but I digress. Also on the Haunted Star, but separate from Britt dying, Sprina talk about how their fake dating plan is working and have another near kiss when Esme washes up aboard and collapses. They realize she's pregnant and call help to get her to the hospital. Liz is wondering how she got involved in all of this as she listens to Nicholas tell her about Esme's escape when Spencer calls her and lets her know Esme is in the hospital. Sprina, Niz, Ava, Laura, and Dante gather at the hospital where Esme claims to have no memory at all, where everyone, and I mean everyone, finds out Esme is carrying Nicholas's kid, and Ava delivers the slap heard around Port Charles. Meanwhile, Joss heads to Kelly's and breaks up with Kim. He tells her they can't be friends. She does not mention the jet sex. Yikes. Word of Britt's death spreads. Nina tells Brad and Maxie about Britt's Huntington's. Austin comforts Liesl. Felicia is on Cody propping duty. After Sonny puts his hands on Nicholas, he tells Spencer. Trina worries how Portia is taking the news, and Joss confesses to Carly that she was the intended target. Britt shows up in Esme's hospital room with intentions to kill, and Nina intervenes. Just another reason not to like Nina. And finally, Willow gets a call that they have found a bone marrow donor for her. And that's our week. How did y'all feel?
Man, I was swept.
Yeah.
I was swept, put in the dustbin, and thrown in the trash because that was the week.
That was the week.
It was the
like right off the bat with the sweeping.
Right.
January sweeps, who knew? Yeah, I mean, I even had us like, I think we'll kind of format differently because there were so many great performances. I wanted to like go through them. Yeah. But yeah, loved it. Loved the week. There were parts that weren't amazing, but it was more amazing than not.
Yes.
And I said,
yeah.
So amazing.
Well, are we going to talk about favorite moments?
Yes, please.
Obviously, my favorite moment was Ava announcing to the entire floor that that's Esme's baby, or that's Nicholas's baby.
Right.
I've been waiting to hear you talk about this. Please tell us more. Tell us how you feel about it.
It was giving Lulu and Liz.
Yes.
And it was giving slut with the enunciation, even without using the word slut. Which I also appreciate. It was what I need for the soap to soap.
Mm-hmm.
I needed the dread leading up, like Nicholas being like, "Why don't we take this somewhere private?" And Ava being like, "I'm good." I loved everyone's like confusion, like what's about to happen, except for Spencer, who's kind of like, I wonder if she could have. Interesting. This is the most interested I've been in what Ava's doing in a minute. And then the reaction shots.
So
I mean, so many good ones. I think the top ones were, it's either Laura or Trina.
Right.
With Liz like coming up right behind.
yes.
Because we have the Laura just like the disgust, horror, just what? Like does not compute. And then we have the Trina, like, these white people are fucking nuts.
Trina was like giving me Rihanna, like, this is the most ghetto shit I've ever seen.
Like, Spencer, let's get you out of here. Like, I know my mom doesn't like you, but let me take you home. All right. You don't need to go with those people anymore. And then the Liz, like, oh, I told you to be careful. I told you to stop hanging around here, is what she said.
Liz has been giving me so much life these couple weeks from this like Niz 2.0 shenanigans. Everything about it. Like when she pulled up to the side, like, should I call my kids? Because you're about to get us caught. Right now. Like to her looking like, well.
I tried.
Obviously, friend of the show, Port Misery, did like some memes for us, and I pinned them on our Instagram. So like it's like frame by frame of the slap with what people are thinking. Amazing.
It was like it was giving. Well, you shouldn't have stuck it in there. Was the other layer of like, when you have like when you get that news from that not shit male relative where you're like, well, and he's trying to be like, she's crazy, da 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 da, and you're like, well, why did you stick it in crazy? I don't know what, I can't do anything for you now. So just it was everything. And then of course there's just Mora, Ava herself, and that dangerous buildup you could feel where she was so calm, but there was something really erratic about it, and you're like, oh, it's coming. And boy, did it ever. So just out of like a whole week of really soapy moments, that was the one that really had my heart.
Mm-hmm. It was the one that had my heart too. I mean, what else was better than that? I also really enjoyed Spencer saying to Cam, do you have any advice about how to be a good big brother? Like, it was just like, Spencer, why are you this way? And also, Spencer never, ever, ever changed. You know what I mean? Like, I need both of those things from him. It was Spencer's whole vibe this whole week was killing me, and I loved it. Him like coming in Nicholas like he was the parent, like, what's this? Just like everything about it was really good. But yeah, the slap, I mean, what can top it?
Can you level with me? It was giving like I'm lecturing you.
You just like finally tell the truth for once in your life.
Once in your life.
I also, with that Cam scene, I loved when he was like, is this about our parents? And Cam was like,
what?
Never mind.
Never mind. It's like I continue to see, and I'm gonna definitely get into this, like poor Cam trending, and it's always about Joss. I'm like, Cam's mom is committing felonies with slack-jawed losers and about to go to prison for it. He's about to be even more of a single dad. So if we're gonna be poor Camming out here, there's a lot of poor Cam to go around, and it's not just about Joss.
Right.
Also, literally about his financial situation.
Please give that boy some money.
When Scott was like, "Do you need money?" I was like, "Take the money, Cam.
Right.
Don't be proud. Take that money for Grandpa Scott, because all his kids are dead. So he's got to give it to someone."
Except for that Sprina, right?
Trina.
Oh yeah, they're never gonna bring her back. She got her own money. She's fine.
She do got her own money. That's why Truck Nuts was mad. Tanya, why don't you tell us your favorite moment and then take us through the performances? So we'd love for you to just like give us some top lines for us to like respond to like different performances, and then you to let us know who was your top.
So that's hard.
I know.
So many great performances.
Maybe the discussion will make you feel better than that.
More confident. Yeah. So I mean, my favorite moment was the same. It was the best moment of the week of the year. And it's only 2023. First week of 2023. And I don't know what can top it. I mean, it was so magnificent. You had Ava being Ava, and then you had all of these great actors behind her reacting to what was happening on point, and it's the best thing, and I will replay it in my mind forever. But but on to the other top performances, because there was a lot. I mean, this was a great week. Let's start with Kathleen Gotti and Kelly Thibault. So that death, it was a lot. I mean, I think Liesl has gone through a lot this week, dealing with the fact that her daughter's going to die, wanting to celebrate her and her birthday, and just like thinking about all the ways that she kind of just was not a great mom, but wanting to make up for it, and being, the fun, karaoke mom at the party, then, reflecting on the year and how she's going to do better, and then seeing her daughter on New Year's Eve and thinking, oh, she's just a little bit sick, let me take her home. Then, oh no, she's dying, she's dead, going to the hospital, cleaning out the medical office, dealing with her grief there, talking with Austin, finding out that actually Britt was going to leave town, then finding out about Esme being in the hospital, and then going immediate Liesl mode and wanting to kill somebody, and then being thwarted in that plan and having to go home and just being tired. I felt the tiredness. I felt the exhaustion of it all. It was amazing all week, even last week. So, I mean, kudos to that. And I think I saw a tweet from Kelly where she's like, the day that she was going to die, I think she tweeted, "I can't watch today." Yeah. She's like, "I don't think I can watch today," because it probably was that emotional. It was a goodbye for the character. It was a goodbye, probably a kind of emotional goodbye to her scene partner. It was probably a lot to kind of deal with. And so kudos all around.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I actually have no love for the Westbournes. I would take out that whole crew from Lisa to Wiley and not think anything of it.
I keep forgetting that Willow's part of.
Yeah, but because I feel that way about them, I think that the fact that they made me feel emotions for their characters, just really showed how good the acting was. It was like, we're about to make you feel this, and I did. I felt every piece of it. I felt for Liesl as a mother. I felt for Britt as a daughter just wanting to be with her mother in her last moments. I thought it was really special that everybody was asking if she was by herself, and then they'd be like, no, she was with Liesl. She died in her mom's arms, and people were like, okay, that feels right. I think really shows the performances, because we know the backstory. Like Liesl and Britt were not close. They did not have like that very traditional mother-daughter relationship as Britt was growing up. So the fact that like it was so moving and touching through their performances, I think just speaks volumes to the talent of Kathleen and Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I am not a Westbourne fan, but I do enjoy both of them as actors and appreciate what they were both able to do with the characters that they were given and the like wild shit that both of their characters have done. And part of like I think what makes soaps dynamic and exciting is that there is like no like fixed good and evil. So that, and of course people are going to have their beef with certain characters and they're going to hold on to it and all that, and that's part of like why it's so fun to have such an ecosystem of characters that different people are going to be drawn to for different ways. And I do love a villain, so I have appreciation for both of them in that sense of like they both have something about them that kept getting them called back to the show. And yeah, they're both very talented. And I thought I could not rewatch Britt's death.
Yeah, me neither.
It was I did rewatch that episode and I had to like skip past those parts because it was too good. It was too sad. It was too brutal. She did an amazing job. She said something like, I YouTubed how to die. Which, good job. You did a great job. Good YouTubing, Kelly. I was just like, are we airmailing her a next Emmy now or what? It was so poignant, and also still like there was like levity there, which also made it more painful. And it felt like the death scene that I keep returning back to is that it felt like McDreamy's death scene, in that like you're like no wait, what? She narrating? No, but you dying? Oh God! Like there's something about the like the dramatic irony of it, where I was like, no.
Why would you bring that Big Dreamy up? You know that hurts me. I know.
It was like it was in the style of, now not necessarily the same kind of beloved character, but yeah, I thought they did. It was like one of the best, more dignified deaths that they've had in a long time too. And it's very clear that they wanted to give both the actor Kelly and the character an appropriate send off, and I think they did. It was mission accomplished.
Agreed.
Yeah. Still said that she's dead, not just disappeared, because I would like to see her come back, but maybe she'll come back as another character, hopefully better written than Austin. So
Damn. Fair enough.
Just keeping it real. Going on with the death of Britt and her exit, Perry Shin as Brad and Kristen Storms as Maxie. I felt that was particularly powerful because, I mean, we had been experiencing Liesl's loss for the weeks because she's known that Britt was terminal. However, Maxie and Brad had no idea what was going on. So the suddenness of the death was really real, but also the revelation that Britt was terminal was even more real and devastating for them. Particularly for Brad, his, feelings about Britt was his only friend in life, and knowing everything that he had been through. I mean, that was literally the case because mostly everybody was hating on the fact that he was not in prison anymore. And his aunt was just using him for, whatever nefarious purposes she has for him. He was feeling scared. He's scared of his aunt. He's, not the friend of anyone at the hospital, which was where his whole life was. And, Michael hates on him, everybody. So Britt was his one and only friend. And the loss of that was truly devastating. And Perry Shin, man, acted his ass off on that. Then to find out that, Britt didn't tell him that she was leaving town and just, didn't tell him that she had a terminal illness. So that shock also was very real. And so I was very moved. I was crying the whole time in his scenes. I wasn't crying with Britt actually dying. I was crying with Perry. And Maxie was great. I think Maxie was playing the supportive actress in there. I think in those scenes, Perry was the lead and he was the focus. And Maxie was, yes, she was devastated, but she was also playing kind of the numb acceptance, because she had already experienced a lot of loss. And she was playing the numb acceptance and like, we need to get through this. We need to find that outfit for Britt. We need to move on. We need to be friends, but really sad and devastated over the loss and the lack of knowledge of what was going on with Britt. So I definitely kudos to Perry Shin and Kristen Storms.
Yeah. I like what you said about Perry being kind of the lead actor in that scene and Kirsten doing a great job of supporting him.
Yeah.
It's like Maxie knows that she, like, of course the loss of Britt is huge and she has lots of love in her life.
Right.
Lots of love and support, and sees that Brad actually does it. And that like not only was Britt his best friend and his only friend, that's his real family.
Mm-hmm.
Not Aunt Selena. So her stepping in and being like, no, we're gonna do what Britt wanted, which was like, I'm gonna be there for you. I thought that was really lovely, and I do want to see that relationship. I don't want that to be a one and done. I do want to see that relationship continue. I think Kristen and Perry have nice chemistry together. It's like fun. They're both really funny, but they also know how to pull out. Perry said, don't forget, I can pull out an emotional performance. Now, I'm not just the gay bestie, okay? And so I want him to continue to have this tie back to the canvas, because it also like it ties the woos to the canvas, and I want to see what happens with him getting all Britt's money and what the ramifications for that are. So I really hope it's like the first of like many, or the second, I guess. Like many big like Perry and Kristen scenes to come.
I love what both of y'all said. Y'all have like just have my head spinning about this as well. I mean, I thought Perry, like, I didn't even expect to get so emotional from him. And it actually like was like a gut punch when he was like crying. It was like even before they walked into the hotel room and he was talking about it. Like I was like, oh my God, am I crying already? Like it was that like good for me, because it also, I think, and we'll talk more about, Cam and Joss later, but like it was a reminder of like the history. Because so often with this current like writing, we actually don't get a whole lot of history. We get like a scene or two to like establish if there was history, or we see things like, or we hear about things happening off screen. But we actually have so much of Kelly and Perry, so much of Britt and Brad that we actually saw happen on screen from years ago. Like, so that it's not like we have been told that they were besties. We've actually seen them be besties. And so it's really easy, like it's really easy to like think through as an audience that loss, because we've seen the actual friendship and relationship. And then I think to your point about Kirsten, she's not always given a lot of like emotional work. And I think it was really beautiful to see her play that support, because it reminds you that she is a nuanced actress. Like Kirsten does this, right? Like she's been like on soaps for a while now, and she knows how to put out a really great performance when she's given that. So we saw that with the Peter stuff once like it finally let it come to a head, and we're seeing that again with this. So yeah, loved the performances, thought they did a really great job, and was like very proud of like how we are watching this show with like such great actors.
That's what made the week so great. I mean, really, it's not like the story was really surprising and shocking. It was the performances that pulled it off. So that was amazing. Okay. I think this is the one where we're probably the most excited because we love our kids, man. Will Lipton and Eden McCoy. Josslyn breaking up with Cam was so emotional. So Josslyn goes in and breaks up with him, and she doesn't necessarily say the reason she gave was real. It was actually true. She was falling out of love with him, but she didn't say that she cheated on him. So when I was watching it, I was disappointed that she didn't say, but at the same time, oh my God, I felt her pain at this breakup because she was so scared that he wasn't going to be friends with her. And she was, at least right for now, she's right. He doesn't want to be friends with her. And it was super painful and gut-wrenching. And it was devastating on Will Lipton's part because he had been, throughout the past couple of weeks, trying to check in with her, trying to talk to her. I mean, he sensed that something's wrong, wanting to talk, felt that when they last made love, that was it, that they're back on track and they're going to start hanging out together and doing the things, and was planning on hanging out with her for New Year's. And then she comes in with this news. And even then he was like, okay, so we need to work on it. Let's talk about it. And she was like, no. And he's like, that sentence, he's like, oh, so you're not here to fix things. You're here to break up with me. Oh my God. I was just like, oh my God. It was so devastating. And it kind of just harkens back. I don't know if any of you have had been broken up or dumped like that. I had, and it was like brought up the feelings of what that was like to be shocked and thinking that your relationship is okay and having that other person tell you no. Man, he did that right. And then, yeah, he did not want to talk about it anymore. He did not want to be her friend. He wanted her to go. Very painful and gut-wrenching. When he was at the counter and he was waiting for her to leave, he was waiting for her to hear the door shut. Like he was waiting. And then he broke down. Oh my God.
William.
I was just like, oh my God. I wanted him, and then I wanted him to like, he threw something. I wanted him to turn around and see that man. But he didn't.
No, we're glad that didn't.
Oh my goodness. But that would have been even more devastating, I guess. But yeah.
They want to spread the devastation.
They want to spread it.
Yeah.
All that devastation in one scene. Like we gotta make Cam really miserable over time.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Williams. Like, I mean, everything you said. I think that just like the way he took the news, he's such like Cam is like such a good guy. I actually have more to say about that later, but he's such a good guy that like seeing him heartbroken was like really hard because you also like know all the other things that are going on in Cameron's life. And right. So for him, like Josslyn is the good thing. That was the constant. And so to lose that and not even know that you were losing it, I think at that age, you're like, what could I have done differently? Oh, this was my friend. I thought it was fine. He portrayed every single one of those nuances, and we don't see him that often. So I was just very proud of what he, there are kids. Like it's just like we've seen, like I said before, like Josslyn and Cam like grow up. Like they have been on our screen. Those two actors have been on our screens for a very long time. And we've seen so much from them that I think seeing that like portrayed was like, they weren't just playing like the loss of their relationship, they were playing like the loss of each other's screen partners in a lot of ways, and that came through. And then if I was picking like performer of the week, I would definitely give it to Eden for all parts of what she played, like from things with the hook to the scene, the like sex scene with Dex, because I was shocked. I didn't know that was coming. I was like, wait, what's happening? Because the show has been so chaste, I was like, wait a second. I gotta watch crew like make out and Dex and Josh are gonna bang? Like, what's happening here?
She did that leg wraparound. The leg wraparound. I was like, no, this is not the Caoss first time scene.
It is not the Caoss first time scene.
It was not the Caoss. Oh my god.
No,
said, let's kick it up a couple notches.
Spicy, okay? I'm about to have my first drink of scotch and I'm about to get it in. And I loved like the part where he like asked her basically like for consent. It was like very short and sweet, and then it was like, yep, we're doing this. And then I saw that Eden tweeted that like, because one of the things I also really liked was like them smiling at each other and like actually seeming like they were enjoying it. Like and she said that wasn't scripted. And so I was like, oh, that's why it kind of felt natural for them. So I thought that was great to like this like complete 180 of being like, oh shit, I gotta go talk to Cam. And then the breakup, and then the scene with Carly. It was just like a roller coaster this week for our girl. And I felt every part of it. And I think that she navigated it really well. And it wasn't she went from the little girl we saw at the first the last Carson wedding to today. And it was, I thought, really, really great. So she would have been my performer of the week if I picked one.
The Eden and William breakup scene, the Caoss breakup scene. It was the first time that I was a Caoss fan. I was like, oh, they're breaking up? How sad. Okay. Like, not okay as in like, but like, oh, is that a tingle of investment? But it's because of their friendship, right? It's because we've seen them together for so long, more as friends than anything else. And how the ramifications of trying to work. I mean, shit, it's hard to be friends with your exes when you're grown, let alone when you're really like navigating that for the first time. And so I felt that and was like, I've been Joss and Cam in this situation. I've been the person who was broken up with where I wasn't quite ready to quit yet, of like, well, could we still work things out? Or like, oh, like, give me a chance, while the other person was so clearly done. And I've also been the person who was done that had to be like, I care and I'm sorry, so I felt both the characters' perspective were like really well played and balanced. Yeah, I think there's like part of, there's like there's like the Joss like friend should have broken up with this boy a while ago. Yeah. And feeling that, and also feeling the Cam, how did you not see this coming? Like, so there's I just appreciated that there was, or at least I feel balanced, not necessarily in fault, but like this is just how relationships play out too. Mm-hmm. So I liked that. I liked the way that the performances were balanced. I liked the realness of it, of like both them being our kids and like stepping into adulthood with this very like the most adult breakup we've had in like a minute. So
Something I've always thought about Caoss, which is why I've never been into them. Like, I mean, if you follow me on any social media, you know I love and I still love Dawson's Creek. And Dawson and Pacey is my, or Joey and Pacey is my like ship of all ships. And Caoss always gave me Joey and Dawson vibes. And that's never gonna ever be my ship. But they like invested. I was so invested in both of those characters. Like even I don't even I care about William Lipton's portrayal of Cam more than I care about the character of Cam. And so just like the way those actors have been able to do that, I think it just like jumped off screen. And I was riveted. I couldn't look away. No, I could not watch that scene again in my rewatch because I was like, it's too much. But when it was happening, I legitimately could not look away from what they were doing. Yeah.
One more performance I want to talk about, Nicholas Chavez. Oh my goodness. So he had also had a wide range of emotions to deal with this week, whereas pretending but not pretending to be in love with Trina, the shock of seeing Esme all of a sudden, the anger with the realization that the baby she was carrying was, you know, his dad's. Then, you know, the smirk of watching it all play out in in the hospital. And then the devastation of realizing that the woman the adult woman in his life that he's most close with has passed on. It was amazing. One of the things that really struck me, I kept thinking and hearing in my mind is him saying, "If you excuse me." He says that a lot throughout the week, and trying to have this angry conversation or to, you know, deal with his emotions. He's always had that good upbringing. He's like, excuse me, you know, if you'll excuse me. And I was just like, always polite, always the gentleman, yet going through some really heavy issues. And Nicholas Chavez played it to the hilt. I mean, he definitely earning his Emmy and then some. Love him as an actor. So great.
Yeah.
I when he was talking to Sonny and he was like, I'm so tired.
Yes, I felt his tiredness and, you know, Liesel's tiredness.
I was just like broken for him. You know, Spencer's so complicated and I love every parts of his complication. Like I continue to think he is one of the best written characters because they allow all his nuance to come through. And that's why he's my favorite. He just is. And you know, and I forgive him all the time for all of the things he does. And I celebrate him all the time for all of the good things he does as a character. And as an actor, I just continue to be impressed with Nicholas Chavez for bringing all of that through. It has been, just like a pleasure to watch all of that and to see him like kind of breathe this new life into this character that I've always loved.
Yeah, it felt, I thought he did an amazing job with the initial reaction. We didn't really actually get to see anyone else's, like, that was close to Britt hear the news for the first time. He's the only person that we saw the initial response. And boy, did they pick a great actor to play that out. It was very subtle, was really real. Like you could see like the denial, the trying to make sense of like hearing the words but not really, like just seeing the registering of the information happen kind of in waves, which is what happens for many people when they're receiving like traumatic information. And so I loved that the little subtle details. You know, he often gets hyped up for the big yelling scenes. We love a big yelling scene on a soap opera, of course. But I love that. I thought it was really understated and a nice contrast to a lot of the other reactions to Britt's death. And it just made me feel grounded in the relationship between Spencer and Britt that was built by the other Nicholas that played Spencer. And that's actually what endeared Britt to me, was the relationship between Spencer and Britt. And I loved how it was a redeeming relationship for Britt, but not all of a sudden she was this like warm mother figure. Like it was still like very like dysfunctional and odd and very strange and not quite right, but like there was something about the way in which they connected. I don't know, maybe it's like as kids of super villain legacy, maybe the fiction. But I love that there was the continuity that was created between actors, and it felt like a really fitting. And it was so, he was so sad and tired and broken by the end of the conversation that I wasn't even mad about him going to Sunny's.
I was, but I hear you.
Like he needed to be with like, I wish it had been Laura, but
oh yeah, 100%.
Laura might be busy doing something else.
Yeah. See,
but I without getting like, just that I was able to go where the emotions led for that scene. Obviously, I didn't want him to go to Sunny's, but like that was the scene that was given, and it worked with the performances.
I hear that.
I want to go just not only, I mean, yes, kudos to that emotional performance, but I want to also give a shout out to, because I know Sprina fans were getting their life this week, and him playing the romantic lead was awesome. I mean, yes, they were trying to pretend, but you could totally tell that he was doing everything he can to have that time with her. Like, let's go back out into the, outside into the balcony. It's all so people can see that we're together. And then him and their conversations just really reminded me of like that character he played, Victor, when he was trying to pretend to be somebody he's not. Just really enjoying Trina's company and almost kisses and then the jokes and all of that. I really enjoyed Romantic Spencer this week as well. And last week.
I really loved how they were like, it's just for appearances. Nobody's here. I'll just talking about it.
No. It was like straight up like, let's go be by ourselves.
Right.
Let's go be by ourselves so everyone will know that we're together. But we're not.
They were killing me. And I really do hope, because like one of the things about Tatiana is she has no right to be as funny as she is. Like her portrayal kills me sometimes. Just like she was like, when you see her, you're not gonna be mad. Like it's just like the way she talks and delivers lines are so funny. And we know that like Nicholas and Spencer can be really funny. So like amongst the angst of Sprina, I also hope that they allow them to lean into how funny both of them are.
Yeah. I'm loving Sprina, and I'm hoping they'll keep it real and still want to hang out and be friends. And I think, Cameron's already seen it. He's like, I'm surprised, he was surprised at how he felt about relationships because he's seeing how well his and Trina's is going. So it's going to happen, and I'm excited. I'm still thinking we're going to get at least a Valentine's Day kiss, maybe.
I think that's true.
Yes. So, yay! Oh, so now comes to the hard part. Who do I pick? This is the favorite of the week. Oh my God, I can't believe I have to do this. Because, even you're like, hopefully after we have this conversation, that will illuminate something. And then you throw in the whole Eden performance. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, Eden. I really want to know. Everybody was awesome. But I really want to give it to Perry Shin because I was not expecting feeling the emotion from him and the performance that he gave. I was not expecting it. I was kind of expecting to get these powerhouse performances from Nicholas Chavez and Maxie and Kathleen Gotti and all this with Britt leaving. But Perry, I mean, yeah, I felt he was going to be sad, but I didn't know that he was going to take advantage of the little screen time that they gave him. He took full advantage of it. And I think he did a great job. Yes. I'm feeling again, William Lipton. We don't see him that often. He took advantage of that again, just giving it 100%. I'm still thinking about, I'm still in love with you. I was like, oh, it was just amazing. But yes, Eden McCoy as well, Kathleen Gotti, but I'm going to give it to William and Perry.
Tanya said, 2, narrowing it down to 2 is the best I can do.
And I was like, there's no wrong answer because look at how abundant our talent is on our soap.
Yes.
Tanya said it's the return of the recurring powerhouses.
Right.
Let's give it up for our recurring actors.
Yes.
I don't have much for this, but Sandra, what is working? I feel like I've talked through most of the stuff that's working for me, but what's working for you?
I mean, the soaping mostly.
Yeah.
It was just very good. Even things that I was like, ugh, about like Esme interrupting Sprina. I was like, oh, again. But also, damn, if you're gonna be interrupted, I mean, that was pretty epic.
Right.
Her like showing up and like collapsing, and she's pregnant, and she's like hypothermia, and they're like, I guess we gotta take her to the hospital. Like, and I just knew. I called it. I was like, she's gonna have amnesia, or she's gonna pretend to have amnesia. And I enjoy that trope when used effectively. And I think that this is actually a really effective use of the amnesia trope because it puts Esme back into interacting with folks but without putting Niz in immediate peril, but they still have peril. Like they're still like, what are we gonna do? How do we get? And like we're left wondering, what does she remember? Is she pretending? Is there going to be a point at which she remembers and starts pretending? Like there's a lot of different ways that the story could go. I don't love that it is setting her up to be like, for a redemption arc, but she's already well on her redemption arc anyway. So what can you do? But I do appreciate the use of tropes with her arc.
Mm-hmm.
It's being like well executed, and of course always well acted because Avery Pohl, very talented. And then the hook reveal, I said before, I was like, I kind of just never want it to be revealed because it will never be as good as like the lead up to it. It doesn't make sense that it's Heather from like just like a plot standpoint, and it just reinforces that they didn't know who the hook was going to be, or that they changed their mind. And you know what? It is what it is. Like that's like my attitude about GH at this point. And so what I appreciate about it is that it doesn't make sense, but it is soapy.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting that it's Heather. It is wacky. It's more interesting than it had been someone like Rory, for example. Like I still want it to be, I'm still holding out for something that makes sense, and that's on me. I really want like Heather to not have been the hook the whole time. I wish that, and there was this little moment where I was like, Maggie is Heather's twin, and she's taking care of Esme this whole time, and she like I really wanted Maggie to be the hook.
Right.
And that would have been interesting from like she like what's Maggie's connection to Port Charles? Oh, she's Heather's twin, and that's why she was trusted to take care of her, blah blah blah, whatever. Anyway, so of course, like the soap is not perfect. The soap does not need to be perfect. The soap just needs to be soaping, and it's doing that.
The bubbles are happening. Yep, it's soaping. Yeah, I agree. I that's exactly it. Plots are moving. Like Willow has her whatever that's moving next week. Like finally, my God. Like finally, just die or don't die already, whatever. Like Sprina is moving in the right direction. We got like it's just like things are moving, and that is what's working for me. It's soaping, it's moving, it's being acted very well. I know that people like love a big dramatic scene, but there's been a mix of like dramatic and comedic, so that's all working for me. What about you, Tanya?
Same for me, but what really worked for me was ensemble acting. Just we talked about it in the beginning of the episode, but how people reacted to Ava's shenanigans in the hospital was priceless. And so, I mean, you have to give it up to the actors and being able to work as a group and make the story really pop. Love it. So, but as you know, I quickly always want to go into what's not working.
Tell us.
Two things, obviously, always and forever. Cody. So we said that we didn't get to see many people's reactions immediately to hearing about Britt. We got to see Cody having a reaction, and I was just like,
I just don't count him as people.
Right.
So that was my oversight.
And such a like having Felicia having to, work with him, such a waste of her talent. I did not like it. And then the nerve for him to be like, oh, and too bad Britt never got to know that I just really wanted her. Britt didn't care. She didn't care about you. It's not too bad for her. It's too bad for you, maybe, but no.
I don't say this often, but bye, Felicia.
Bye. Yeah. And the second thing is that I didn't like, and we talked about briefly, we didn't like the fact that Nicholas was going to Sunny. I didn't like the fact that he was the one that Spencer was going to Sunny. I didn't like the fact that Sunny was the one that told Spencer about Britt's death. I think it should have been Laura. But again, this is all about Maurice Bernard getting, screen time, I guess. But I didn't like that. I felt like, I don't know, it just needed someone better. Laura would have been amazing. Those would have been amazing scenes for Nicholas Chavez to have with Jeannie Francis and Will Lipton. So I feel like that was kind of a missed opportunity. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I also wish it would have been Laura. I just saw this as like being another thing to like prop Sunny, which I hate, obviously. And I have a few things that aren't working, but the first one, I like to call Persona Rue Illo.
Persona Rue Illo. What?
Carly, Sunny, Nina, Drew, Millo.
Oh. I call it.
You can literally, like, if I think about all the things I disliked about the week, it was everything else was perfect for me. And I actually like Crew, but are you telling me these grown ass people were kissing on a dock? Get away. Go bang or don't do anything. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I just don't. Who cares? Ugh. Yeah. And I think everything else speaks for itself. Like, I mean, Sante, get them off prop duty. Give Sante a story. They really had to like be at Kelly's so everyone could run into them. So instead of getting like sexy Sante time at home, Sante gets like a call while he's like in the afterglow with his boo. They got to be having hot chocolate so the whole town can run into them. No. Put these beautiful people in some moonlight and let them bang. Absolutely not. No.
The irony is that they talked about it. They're like, why are we here at Kelly's?
And then they almost left. And then they stayed forever. They live at Kelly's now.
Because they have to prop everybody. Because their chemistry is so good. Because like they are so convincing as like this beautiful couple. So like basically before we get to like actually see them do all the things that they should do as a couple and like us live in like Sante's world, we're gonna like the next thing that's gonna happen is like something that messes them up. So we don't even get a chance to like actually like enjoy them fully as a couple with all of the ways that you get to enjoy like soap couples before there's like some sort of barrier put in their way. I hate it. Absolutely not. And then I actually want to talk to y'all about this because I was like talking to Tanya a little bit before you came on, Sandra, before you pushed record about like just like the meta-ness of like addressing like how people respond to like the show or respond to characters. And so what I'll say is not working for me is this idea of like one note male characters with like meanie women around them. And so I mean that about Chase and BLQ, and I mean that about Joss and Cam. So like they like it feels like the writers, which is one of the reasons I love Spencer so much, is that there is nuance to Spencer. We can argue all day long about whether Spencer was right or wrong because Spencer does right and wrong. With like Chase and Cam, they're written as these like very one note, you gotta think they're right characters. Look at these good guys who deserve only good things because they're good guys. And because we expect men to not be shit, like when men are like decent people, like we think that they deserve the world. Whereas like women are supposed to be like decent by default. And if women deflect, then they're awful. And so like the response of like people being like Brooklyn is so evil for not like writing a letter for Chase and therefore he should have broken up with her. And this like idea that Josslyn had like no remorse about Cam, that like she's like the worst thing to ever happen to like it's just like a very interesting, I think, trope for me. And part of it is I wonder if things would have been different if the writers would have planned the story different. Because there was something that you pointed out, Sandra, that I think that is so true, which is like the fact that Cam was shocked by this actually doesn't show like, oh, I think that like it is taken as like, oh, he's like such a good guy, he would have never thought, as opposed to like he's actually just like not paying attention to like what's actually happening in his relationship. So I guess like my question for y'all is, do y'all think that writers have like a responsibility, especially for like women characters, knowing how easy it is for audiences to turn against them, to like write with more care and nuance so that doesn't happen? Or do you think it's just natural and the audiences will always turn against women characters?
I think it's both. And I actually feel like the Cholin, to me, Cholin feels very clear cut that. Like, they wrote Chase in this certain way for a long time. He's also very hot.
Yeah.
And so people really like him because he's hot. This is a soap. And Brooklyn is like the less straightforward romantic heroine character too. So there's like a way in which she's kind of at a disadvantage in the relationship just going in. She's never had a good pairing. She's always been kind of like scheming and like people's like second choice. And so like there's a way in which she came in at a disadvantage in so many different ways. And the way that they wrote the pairing it just highlights all of that. And I think with Caoss, I don't feel the same sort of, I feel more balance. I think that the imbalance is a lot in the online reaction and that it's not necessarily reflective of how the story was written. I think like, and maybe it's just me and the way that I watch the show, but I did kind of see that disconnect from Cam, and they established that disconnect way like months ago between them. And I feel like they did put more care into it than they probably have in the past because of the relationship to Eden and to Joss as a character, like people wanting to protect her on the show. And it is also just like we're writing for a different age group, a different era. So there is something about like, I don't know how they could have written it differently without like losing some of the themes around like desire and around I liked that she couldn't help herself.
Yeah, me too.
And I think there's just some way in which society at large is just never going to be okay with that. And I think there's also something about the soap fandom is kind of misogynistic, actually.
Yeah.
It's not full of a lot of nuance. They're very attached to certain tropes and certain ways of seeing women, even as like the fan base is largely women. There's like a lot of internalized misogyny. So I'm kind of like of both minds of it, of like they could do better in certain areas. And I think there's a certain point at which it's like, do we actually just want a different fan base that the show doesn't have?
That's really interesting. My brain, you know, whenever I talk to y'all, my brain is just like going.
I don't know. I kind of agree. I felt like I think the audience is reacting way too strongly. Like I really felt the conflict that Josslyn was having. I feel like she's reacting in a way that any young person, like we have to, like sometimes people who watch the show are watching as adults, right? And they're thinking about how they would have handled things. And you're a grown person, but Josslyn is still young. She's still in her 20s. She's experiencing 19. She's experiencing love and friendship and sex and all of these things, not to mention all the stress she's dealing with being stalked by a hooker, but all of these things, and she's not going to do things the right way because she's still learning, right? I was telling Tracy that I really wish she had told Cameron that she slept with someone else, but at the same time, if I'm thinking about it, if I was her age, I probably wouldn't have said anything either, you know, because one, she really wants Cameron to be her friend, and that's not something you tell somebody if you want to stay friends with them. And she also wants to protect this new adventure relationship that she has with Dex. She doesn't necessarily right now want everybody to know about it. She definitely doesn't want to hurt Cam any more than she already is. So now I can totally understand why she didn't. But for Cam's sake, I want him to know so he can be fully informed. But I'm not surprised that they wrote it that way. And also because, yeah, like you guys said, they want to extend the drama a little bit longer. That's fine. But I think a lot of people are just projecting what they would like to see on Joss than what actually needs to happen with that character. And then it also, like I told Tracy, I think the internet's full of trolls and people are peopling too much and just need to watch the show and enjoy it. So yeah, I think, and then I agree, about Chaylin. I'm not as invested in Chaylin as a couple anyway, or as characters in a couple. Obviously Caoss isn't the couple, but I'm invested in the characters. I'm not as invested in Chase or Brooklyn. Brooklyn is I think it's okay to have like a woman that's flawed and evil and all this other stuff and mean. Actually, it's probably what makes Brooklyn the entertaining character that she is. She can be brutally honest and mean and whatever. And that's fine. And if people have something against her, that's the character.
But is she really mean? Like, I'm just trying to think back. Like,
she's mean to Austin.
Well, yeah, but
she was, yeah, and she could be brutally honest sometimes.
Yes, I think that part of what I think about is that, our friend Jen M had was tweeting yesterday, and it was like one of the first times I've used the hashtag in a long time. Like GH memories, like what was your favorite whatever, because we're coming up on 60 years. And something that was like really, really struck me was how tame these storylines are.
Right.
As compared to stuff that we've watched in the past. So like people talk about Brooklyn like she's Tracy.
Well, that's how I see. I mean, I see her as Tracy 2.0. Me.
How? Because Tracy Quartermaine, like, can you imagine like, we have to think about the stuff that Tracy did. I mean, in context of like the time period, but she straight up was like holding ELQ over Edward while he was in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I loved it. But I
think if you're thinking about like, thinking of the company versus the family member, I mean, Austin is not a family member per se, not her grandfather, but I mean, she's willing to do, cutthroat things for the sake of the company, just like Tracy.
But it kind of wasn't cutthroat. Like Tracy set Alexis up. This is not even old. This is recently.
Yeah, but like Brooklyn is just beginning. We don't know what she's gonna do when she gets old.
But I'm saying that like people are behaving as if Brooklyn's current behavior is Tracy 2.0, and it is certainly not. Like Tracy set Alexis up to believe that she was drunk driving to break up a relationship. Brooklyn like lied about Bailey and like felt bad about it. You know what I mean? Like it's just I'm not disagreeing.
She also slept with Chase. And for revenge, it's not like Brooklyn has never done anything bad. She didn't sleep with Chase. I mean, Dante. She was involved with the whole Dante and Carly issue. It's not
But all I'm saying is that like it's just not like characters are not doing what, especially for people who have been watching the show for a long time, are not doing the things that they used to do. Like Maxie had Lucky out here selling his ass for pills. There's absolutely nothing that any of the young people are doing that's anything like that. But I feel like the response is like, I don't know, it just like feels very like outsized for what I'm seeing on the screen. And maybe it's because nobody is doing anything like that like smaller things get bigger reactions. But it's just like not. I think that like even with your Brooklyn thing, I'm like, oh yeah, I actually have forgotten about that. Because that was the last Brooklyn, and nothing about those characters. They can be two different people. They've done nothing to transfer anything for those characters. So I think that that's like kind of a little bit of what my point was, that like we aren't seeing them do like these like outlandish things. And so when you have a story written, to Sandra's point, as nuanced as this young girl got like violated got violated, like is in a relationship with her best friend, fell out of love, saw this other guy, had a sexual awakening, didn't know how to handle it. And now like people are talking about her in this way, like she doesn't have any remorse. She's, like it's like the worst thing that's ever happened on soaps. And I think it's interesting considering that like it's not even the worst thing that we've seen in the last 5 years.
And we add to the fact that there's just some real Joss haters out there. They're gonna hate on everything she does.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it does, in a lot of ways, like come back to like a Elizabeth versus Carly, like online rivalry. There was like a video that was kind of going around. I laughed. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed. And typically I don't even see it because I have everything muted, so I don't know. Elon keeps letting things show up on my screen and my feed, even though I have it muted, which is annoying. So like it was this video of Elizabeth right after sleeping with Nicholas, and like feeling bad about it. And the person, I guess, was a Liz fan. It was like, see, this is what remorse looks like. And this is not how Joss felt after she slept with Dex. And I was like, is this good?
Yeah, and the thing is that she doesn't feel remorse. I mean, she's not sorry. I mean, she's sorry about breaking up with Cameron and breaking his heart. But like she said on Friday with Dex, she has no regrets. So why should she feel remorse about it?
Right. But I also was like, this is not like the comparison that I think that we should do. Like, if it was my fave, I wouldn't invite that comparison. Like, I would never post a video of Sam fucking Rick and being like, see? Like, I wouldn't invite the comparison.
No, and I watched that clip, and she actually was not that remorseful.
Right.
As someone who watched that storyline play out, it was not really giving remorse. Like they'd be like, "Oh no, this is wrong." Let's
and I loved it.
I loved it. And I fucking loved it. Anyway, I mean, I think what I'm hearing is what's actually not working is the GH fandom.
Right.
And that's why I don't listen to things that they say.
That's true. I just think that was funny. I appreciate y'all like entertaining that conversation with me. Because I've been seeing it like, am I like, why am I looking at this?
What's not working for me is the majority of GH viewers not going to therapy. Actually, you can quote me on that.
You will be, I'm sure.
Right.
Faces about that. Anyway, I won't know because I don't pay attention. I don't care.
The freedom of it.
Because I go to therapy.
What's for you besides that?
What's not working for me? I mean, I really mostly just had Sante as props. It's not working for me. They're just too hot for this. They're too hot for this. And especially my girl Sam. Because it's like, we got Dante in like, I guess part of his storyline right now is like, oh, I'm all of a sudden remembering that Sunny's a gangster and remembering that I should feel conflicted about it. Okay. Sure. And it's like, I just don't care either way because like I don't want to hear about Dante talking about being a cop. Would really like to forget that. And then the other side of it is hearing Sam defend Sunny. Certainly don't want to hear that. Don't want to hear about Sunny being a mobster with a heart of gold. I really just don't care for either of those approaches, so that's not working. Then apparently we're supposed to care about what Dante did at Salute Your Shorts camp. Which wasn't this introduced like last spring and we still don't know what happened? Like, I don't care. Whatever he did, I'm sure was fine. Let's keep it moving. And on top of that, what does any of this have to do with Sam? Nothing. Where is Sam's story? So Sante doesn't get their own story. Dante gets like scraps of non-story that, for all intents and purposes, could have played out on a 90s Nickelodeon show. And then on top of that, none of this actually is Sam's story.
Right.
They don't let her solve cases. This is another reason why I was like, Maggie the nanny is the hook, because I'm like, isn't this wasn't Sam supposed to be looking into this? Now come on. I'm tired of them talking about the remodel. Is this why we're not getting to see Sante's sex? They're still remodeling the penthouse and they're so poor that they don't get to pull a Quartermains and have like a whole new like layout for their new place like overnight. Because remember when they just changed around the whole arrangement of the Quartermain house and they were like, yeah, it was a reno. Same with the Greystone Manor or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm tired of Sante propping. I'm tired of Sam not having a real story. I'm tired of the renovation being their story. I'm tired of no Sante sex. I am just like Spencer and Liesel. I'm so tired. Take me home.
Amazing.
Let me next to your bed.
No notes. What a perfect ending. Any hot takes? I've gotten most of mine off, but any hot takes? What
was with Drew's entrance to Britt's party? Whoa! My God! Gosh darn it, golly! I was talking to a reporter, and now I've missed the party. Gee, Britt was sure a nice lady. I really wanted to tell her. Gosh, I guess I gotta go not find Carly now because we're not together and we're not gonna have this really lackluster moment on the docks at the same place where Britt had been and heard Josh screaming and went and ran. But apparently crew was so wrapped up in each other that they did not notice that there was murder happening.
I wrote down that Drew was putting 20 on a 10, calling Britt a valiant, brave lady. But then obviously we didn't know that she was going to put herself in front of, Josslyn. But at the time, I was just like, stop.
Drew looked like he was about to host a Netflix game show. I was like, what is going on?
And now we're going to make cakes that are actually purses, and made of newspapers. Game show. And then we're going to tell our life stories. And you'll be reunited with loved ones who you have once fallen out, because you know what? Life is short.
If Cameron Mathis is listening to this, you're giving him an idea. He's about to pitch that.
Well, take it. Just stop doing this, whatever this is. Mm-hmm. Not working.
TJ is too fine to be on the sideline like this. Just like sweet doctor, all this. Give this man a story and take his shirt off. Thank you.
I had other stuff we already talked about, so I have stuff for Thursday. I was like, Martin has to be Esme's lawyer. That's unfortunate. And then I laughed out loud.
He's dead to me.
I was like, huh? You're like, he's dead to you? Well, he was assigned. It wasn't like he chose it. But he also decided to do it with more money. Yeah, so crazy. I wrote, why isn't Heather jealous of Ava? I just thought it was so crazy that Ryan was like, okay, we'll have our little family plus Ava. And she's like, yeah.
Well, Ava's hot, so maybe like Heather is sexually fluid and poly. Or she's gonna also try to kill Ava too. There's probably that.
Right.
So was something with Ava, right?
Huh?
Was it Franco with Ava or something?
Yeah. Yeah, because they were together.
Yeah, like Kiki was his, yeah.
Hmm.
And then I had, how does Ryan know that Britt died, but not that Esme is in the hospital? Like, I feel like they should have said something.
I think it's because his fine ass orderly probably read the paper and the invader had that Britt died, but probably didn't have where Esme was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know why I have this. Don't buy those towels, Portia.
Oh, it's the him and her.
Portia was talking about buying towels for her and Curtis, and I was like, don't even bother.
I've rewritten that. Here it is.
Give it to
Portia is beginning to unbox the towels that she has purchased, thinking that she has bought his and hers towels. Oh no, they've given me hers and hers. What am I gonna do? And she looks up and from across the room locks eyes with Jordan and feels something stirring, pushes it down. No, it can't be. But she won't be able to push it down all the way. And then there's this whole long debacle of her trying to get the towels exchanged, and she just keeps getting hers and hers. And that's my revisioning of that story.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
I wrote Drew should have been on Monday.
Or not at all.
Another example where I was just like, we're really peppy, huh? About going to ride the horse? Just when did Drew let me stop asking questions about Drew, because I'm not gonna like any of the answers.
I'm also like, why is a little brat? Give him to Nina. Yeah.
No, but I think they're trying to play him as like he's realizing something is off.
I get it. Yeah. He's not even entertaining like little redhead Michael. He's just a brat.
I liked the snacky Whiteley.
Me too.
Yeah.
Miss him. Hope those kids are enjoying Paris or something. That's why they had to get recast Wiley.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Wileys got to go move to Paris. And I was like, well, that sounds nice.
Good for you.
Snacky Wiley.
So here's what I was confused by. Did Britt know that she had been poisoned and just decided to die with the poison instead of dying from Huntington's?
She said she came back so she can die with her mom or be with her mom.
But I think that's because she was like, I'm coming back. Like I wasn't gonna move out of town like I thought I was. So she was actually coming back to the Haunted Star to like not like go out of town. But I'm saying that like it felt like almost like was this like a die with dignity kind of thing? Or
I mean,
I don't think she knew. I don't think she knew that she got scratched.
Got it.
Because she was saying that it's too late. I got hooked.
Yeah, but she knew. She saw that. She said that after she saw the scratch. Before, like, she started to get wobbly, and before she was like, Britt, like, because her mom was the one that pointed out that she had been scratched, and this was like last week, and she looked down, shocked. So I don't think I think she came back to say, I want to go die. I don't want to die by myself. I think she meant eventually to Huntington's.
Right.
And that was her decision to go back and be with her family and like face her diagnosis.
Yeah. It was confusing for me. I was like, huh? Because you also know ABC loves Huntington's assisted suicide story. They've done it on Grey's and they've done it on Private Practice.
I was confused about where her luggage went because she had her luggage at the water. And then it wasn't. Then it got shipped.
Right, because she had that one roller bag that she had with her before she heard Josslyn scream, and then it wasn't with her then, and it was the same dock where crew was at, so it should have been on the bench. And this is me paying too close of attention to continuity on this show. That's the most you're gonna get.
Yeah, it should have been on the bench, or somebody turned it in lost and found. I don't know. It disappeared into the ether away.
Yes, the Port Charles lost and found. That could be a whole storyline in itself.
Well, that's all the hot takes I had.
I have one last thing, which may be a slight bit of Cam slander, and maybe it's only because I'm responding because I'm mad how they doing my girl Joss. So Cam is gonna like not be a part of catching the hook that might be targeting them because he's salty about breaking up with Joss.
He said, just update me about what you guys decide.
Yeah, he just didn't want to be in the conversation with all three of them.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Don't love it.
Here's the thing. Cam is not, he knows he's not the brains. Now, I'm not sure who is in that configuration, if we're going to be totally honest, because they all are really bad at plotting.
I do love that Trina stays coming up with a chaotic ass plan and people forget that.
They're like, we need Trina on this. I'm like, we do for chaos purposes. Let's be clear.
Like, you remember when she was like trying to lure Spencer out of like pretending he was the stalker? Like, that shit was chaotic. Like, this current plan. And I love it. It's one of my favorite things about Trina. It's like the one place where she's allowed to kind of be messy is her plans. She's a great daughter, like all these other things, amazing. And then she starts planning you like, Trina girl, what?
Right, like her planning against Cyrus was so chaotic.
And I love it.
She also was like, whenever Cam was like, we're breaking into that to go see Franco's dead body.
Trina was like, yeah,
of course.
Yes, we are. Go get your mom's ID badge. Let's do it. My girl Trina, people be acting like she's like only straight and narrow. And I'm like, no, my girl Trina is nuanced. Okay?
Yep. I also loved her. Like, she didn't have to even ask, is this your baby?
Right. He was like,
mine. It's not mine.
He was like, it's not mine. She was like, well.
Okay. I mean, I don't really care. Whatever. You do what you want.
Because I knew it wasn't yours. It's basically the energy. You ain't have to
know
my time.
Right.
No, that demon baby is not yours. Correct?
Her reaction to Ava slapping, because it was like her reaction to finding out about the baby was one thing, but then her like reaction.
Yeah, that was priceless. I loved it.
Well, Sandra, tell us what we have coming up in the next week.
Good job. Okay, so Monday, Ava shares her plans with Nina. Nicholas meets with Alexis, and Finn tries to hide his hurt.
Oh,
you know why this was such a great week?
Because he wasn't there.
Oh, Finn.
Meanwhile, Victor asks Sunny for help with a family matter. I can only imagine that's going to go well. And Milo meet with Terry. On Tuesday. Oh, and then we'll finally see Terry post Britt.
Yeah.
Now Terry is the only chief of staff.
Yes, she is. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh my God. That vibe.
We're also just congratulations. Anyway, Tuesday, Liz's loyalty touches Laura. Loyalty to who? Not me. Okay, let me keep going. Victor puts Nicholas on the spot. And Jordan and Dante conduct a search. Wednesday, Carly defends her actions. Coming. Gladys seeks Sunny's aid.
Spend all Sasha's money.
God, that's so uncomfortable. Why, girl? I knew you were gonna do that, but why? I was rooting for you. And Cody creates a distraction. What is Cody but a distraction?
Why is Cody? How is Cody?
Let's not get existential. It's
No.
just punishment.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Sorry.
Meanwhile, BLQ goes after what she wants. Wish it was not Chase, to be honest.
Wish it was signing Cam to a music deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One talented. And Nina places an important call. On Thursday, Cameron opens up to Elizabeth. Elizabeth's gonna say, I wouldn't know anything about that. I've only ever been on the other side. Just kidding. We all know Lucky cheated on her.
Right.
Just had to get my digs in, you know. Cody and Sasha find common ground. Boo!
No! Boo!
Oh, we hate it.
Boo!
That was not part of the spoiler. That was commentary. Chase. I wish it was part of the spoiler. Bittersweet reminder of his days as a youth pastor. Maybe Chase is Josiah. Anyway, Carly steals herself. And Michael's family rallies around him.
Uh-oh. Hi.
On Friday, Nina gets a shock. Sunny voices his regret. And Portia is alarmed by Trina's news. I bet she is. Meanwhile, Spencer shares intel with Alexis, and Diane works her magic at the PCPD. And that is the week.
So, I don't know if you saw the Soap Opera Digest article, Tanya.
Oh, I didn't look at it yet.
They have it's about Nina finding out that Willow has leukemia. So like if you see in the on the Friday episode when they were like packing up Britt's office, that it seems like they didn't take the Rush Limbaugh books, but you know.
I saw the file of Nina having chemo.
Yeah. So apparently Nina is like gonna be shocked, she's gonna feel bad, but she's also gonna go confront Michael.
Why?
Because she thinks that Michael told Willow not to have chemo.
He just stays jumping to the wrong conclusion.
Unhinged.
Oh, it's other people's business.
Like, I just am like, I cannot believe that the writers don't hate Nina. Cause like, why would you write that? It's so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, just like there's some really, I'm thinking, sobering news that maybe I should stay out of. But no. Nina's like, oh, how dare Michael? And I'm going to confront him. Like, this is none of your business, lady. I can't.
I'm interested to see how people respond to Carly, because like I'm not the kind of fan who's like my fave did nothing wrong. I'm the kind of fan like,
oh no,
fave when they did something wrong, and so I'm interested to see. She was wrong. She should. I mean, like, girl, what are you doing?
Right. She's all the way wrong.
Yeah, she's all the way wrong.
She's double down wrong.
I'm interested to see how that plays out. I'm interested to see if like Michael like has beef with her and Sunny now.
Right.
Obviously it's probably gonna mean something for Crew. So that's like the most interested I've been in any of this. Um, Also like this idea of like Nina going to Michael. I'm like, Alexis and Sam did it better. Stop trying to knock off on a story that was better told by people that we cared about more.
By not the weakest links on the canvas.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you know what, like Sam and Alexis were back in the day.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, Sam. my first GH ship.
Not mine, but we all know that. We also all know that I fucked with the fake Sam.
We do know.
Days.
No, I was like, when I was going down memory lane, I was like, oh my God, I love Sam so much. I was like watching like old videos. I was like watching the Run to Me. I was like, Kelly, that white dress, nobody was touching them.
Right.
All right. Well, that's all I got. Any other things for the good of the order?
Just keeps open. Keeps
Keep
open
open.
and just like this week, you don't have to wait until February sweeps to move the story. And please, for the love of God, put us out of our chemo baby misery, whatever that looks like.
Oof.
I don't. Let's keep it moving.
Please, for the love of God,
do it.
I think for the love of God, they just need to let go of Cody.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because like, you also didn't read the Kelly kind of exit interview in Soap Opera Digest? She did not mention Cody. She said that originally she came back because she thought she was going to be telling a love story with Steve Burton.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, girl, when? Because it felt like they was always going for Charlie. But now I'm thinking that maybe they were going to do Carjacks again. And then Ingo just started wilding out and they were just like, we can't. And so, and she also said that she would have liked to have told a love story with Roger, which we all said.
Right.
Yeah, because she said she just came back for a short amount of time and then they convinced her to stay with the Jason story. And then, because that wasn't why she came back, but it was like why she agreed to stay longer than the intended arc. Because I think she was just supposed to come back for the Cyrus stuff and then be gone. And then they probably got her like linked up right as they were getting rid of Steve. And so they're like, oh, fuck, what do we do with her?
Which is why she kept talking about Jason. Anyway, well, I'm trying to figure out something better to land us on. I also believe in a Sprina Valentine's kiss. I'm with you.
Yay.
I mean, I want it. I have a feeling it's going to be more like a Sprina, oops, Trina, that's not your dad moment. I don't know if it's going to be very conducive to a kiss, but we'll see. You know, I'm happy to be wrong.
Because that near kiss, steamy.
It was super steamy.
I was like, all right, we see y'all.
I liked it. Keep going. More of this, please. Positive reinforcement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. Text us, Frank. Zoom us, Chris and Dan. Everyone else, follow us on Instagram.
Yay.
Instagram. Okay.
Instagram.
We'll
see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.